Greetings, everyone. Dr. Annette West, Publishing Pusher here. Thanks for joining me in the JetName Publishing, talking all things books. Yes, the operative words, all things. I'm excited you're here. You listen in, share your thoughts. You don't have to be live on the screen to be able to talk. And I want you to know your success is my business. I'm here to assist you, support, empower, inspire as we pull out those thoughts to get these books accomplished. Thanks again for joining me. Hi, everyone. Dr. Annette, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's good to be back. Hi, Miss Anna. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. Glad to see you again.
You as well.
Looks like you're back in your studio.
I am back in my studio and trying to figure out what my studio is going to look like for my to have my services on the TV network and trying to figure that out. And
your sister will help.
Yeah, well, my sister, my daughter, my son, they're all creative. So I just need to get on a creative job, Miss Anna. I'm going to bring you on the screen. There you go. Yes, let me see. Okay, there we go. All right, so I wanted to just share a little bit today. I sent all the invites out this morning, so we'll see who comes in. But I wanted to talk a little bit about collaborating on projects. So Miss Anna knows fully well about this because we have collaborated on some projects before. I wanted to share a little bit today about some benefits and strategies of being a part of collaborations. And Miss Anna, as I'm talking, if you have something, join right in and insert it. One of the things that collaboration does for us on projects, it helps us to expand our reach. What do I mean by that? If it's just me doing my book, I have to work to find all the nuggets of places where there are people who want my book. When you collaborate on a project, you have many people, maybe two minimum, but most of the time you have many people, maybe 7, 14, 21 people. Some people I know have even more than that in things that they've done. And it gives you the opportunity to expand. Why? Because as other people are sharing the content, your content is going where they're going. So when we talk about expanding our reach, it gives us new audiences. As I connect with this person as a part of a collaboration and I see who they're connected to, that might also give me some connections in that process. So collaboration introduces our work to the existing follower base that we have, as well as to new co-authors, allowing us to reach readers who we might not have discovered otherwise than being a part of these collaborations. And under that expanding your reach, it also gives us increased visibility. When we do joint projects, it helps us to gain more attention than just doing a solo effort many times. And with our combined efforts, we can have promotional projects going forward. We can build more increase and collaborative works. What do you say, Miss Anna?
I think it's always a good idea to collaborate. My question is, how do we identify whether that collaboration has worked? If we've got 2 books out there, how do we know whether the new people came from number 1 or number 2 or number 3? And that's been my challenge. I've not set up anything on my website of, how did you learn about me yet? But I'd like to know if anyone else has done that to find out which of the collaborations are proving to be useful other than the fact that I always learn something when I work with someone else. So it's never a waste. I just want to know, how do I determine whether that collaboration is getting me audience that I'd like to continue to communicate with, and whether or not I'm getting sales from collaboration with one, two, or three. So if anyone has anything on that, I'd like to know how they track that.
You know, Ms. Anna, one of the things I would say when it comes to collaborations, it really depends on how the collaboration is set up. Different people that have collaborations do them differently. When I do my collaborations, all my co-authors are they're their own business. So my goal is for each person to do their own sales, to generate their own momentum, although I will start the momentum. And one of the things that I do with collaborations is I don't publicize to sell, even though it's my collaboration that, you know, I pulled it together. I really want the authors in the project. So many times when people are asking about the book, I will refer them to the authors, grab one of the authors and get a copy from one of the authors, because for me, the co-authors have already invested in my project. So therefore I don't see a need. I mean, I could, because many do. They get you in the project and they still sell the book as well as promote it for themselves. My goal, that's not my goal, but everybody has their own model when they are creating these collaborative projects. So it just kind of depends. If you're working on something with someone and all sales lead back to all authors, then there should be some statistical reports that are generated in the system that person would be sharing with their co-authors. But I think, Miss Anna, that's not happening a lot, unless maybe it's a collaboration with maybe just a couple of people. But when it's a lot of people, I think it would be really hard to do that. But I do think it's important to let people know your project design and how you handle your business up front, so that people are not frustrated later after they've gotten out there, invested in the project, gotten their books, and then aren't seeing anything. How do they know if you who created the project and the collaboration are not conveying that information to them? This is one of the reasons why when I do authors' books, I don't want to house their book, because it can become very cumbersome trying to keep track and find this and find that and making sure the person gets this and that. So for me personally, and from most of the people that I talk to, that's not happening. Now, I do know that there are some collaborations. I know a few collaborations. They did their collaborations like this. They had the same cover, but each person had their own name on the book and their own ISBN, and they promoted it as their own project. That seemed to have worked for them, but as I was told by a few people, they like that model. I would be leery, because I know if I go to put in a title of a book and many titles come up with that same title, I may grab the first one and it's not Miss Anna's book that I'm trying to get a copy of. And I don't know until I get the book in the mail that wasn't Miss Anna's book, that was Mary's book. So I personally see an issue with that. So even though my collaborations are on Amazon, you don't see me promoting Amazon. Why? Because I want my co-authors to generate their own momentum. And it has actually worked fairly well for some of my book authors. But what I find out, it is the authors who are willing to do the work. But this is a standard. If you're not willing to do the work, you're not going to sell any books. And if you're only trying to sell to your friends and your family, you're pretty much going to be butt out to a great degree, because most family and friends don't buy your book. Even though they will encourage you while you're talking about it, they will ask you about it. But then they're going to be looking for you to hand them a book. So you have to be, go ahead, Miss Anna.
So I'd like to know, if anyone else is on, how you set up a collaboration, whether or not it's a member of the team who does that kind of analysis of where the audience is coming from, the buyers are coming from, because I think that's the next step for collaborating. If I see Centered in Christ is in the back, I had a privilege of being a part of that. My question is, where are the sales coming to me other than the ones that I have sold personally? And so,
correct.
And so if we can figure out, or not necessarily figure out, share some of the strategies that have worked, I can see collaboration being a nice next step for other than just learning.
Yeah, you know, for me, Miss Anna, I don't like it takes a lot of work to do a collaboration. It takes a lot of work to keep up with the people that are in the collaboration. It takes a lot of work to remind people what they need to do and how they need to do it to get stuff out. And you still lose some people because some people just aren't willing to put in that effort. I try to create a easy process. I think I have a good flow of a process, especially now after doing 2 anthologies and 4 devotionals and a series of 4. I think I have a good flow. So it doesn't really take me much to pull people. It doesn't take me much to get people moving in the process. But as far as, I only know what my authors do based on sales. What I mean is when they order book author copies, right? So those authors, those co-authors who consistently order books, that lets me know that what? They are making sales. Now, I probably could ask them certain questions about their sales and get certain information, if that makes sense. Like where are they mostly selling their books on? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? You know, what different platforms? I think that would be beneficial. But as far as being a part of a collaboration where people are getting royalties, it's not going to happen very much unless you really have a project that is massive. It's gotten out there. It's got a lot of momentum. Because if I have 17, and this is why I don't do it, if I have 17 authors and and I was promoting the book, right? If I was promoting the book, like I said, I don't. But if I was promoting the book for the group, and I have 17 authors, and if I sell 17 books, now I've got to make an effort to send $4 or $5 to 17 people. That's just astronomical. So therefore, I looked at all of these things before I decided to do my collaborations, and I was like, no, let me offer them some books in the collaboration. Let me offer them some training in the collaboration. Let me give them some tools to build. Let me give them some insights to help them to develop. Go ahead, Miss Anna.
I'm nodding my head because that's been my experience. I've collaborated on many publications, but I don't know from which one those sales are coming from. And if I were to establish one on my own, what do I need to have in place that I need to know? Because right now, if someone buys a book on my WooCommerce, I have to take care of ordering the book and getting it to them. And so at what point does collaboration pay off financially and as far as expanding and getting the word out? And so that's what I'd like to hear from. I've heard yours. If there's anyone else here can tell me how they manage collaboration in a way that benefits other than learning what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, and I don't think Mel V's, which is Written Word Publishing, I don't believe. Have you worked on collaborations, Mel V's, or just directly with individual authors?
No, the only collaboration I assisted with Dr. Coleman on her anthology. So that was just from the publishing and editing side, not the contractual side of it. So I don't know how. As far as I know, the authors, they buy their copies and sell their copies, and that's how they make their profit. I don't believe that her publishing company is distributing royalties to the authors for the sales other places, as far as I know.
And I've talked to Dr. Coleman. She was in my boot camp, and I know her model is pretty much like my model. So she is not there are no royalties. Every author is their own business. Yes. So I don't really know anybody who's paying out any royalties. The few that I came across were saying, I got like $4, I got like $5. Um, and I don't think you can ever fully know, because you're not doing the statistical reporting. You're not getting the information in. And you hope that people are honest, that if you are supposed to get royalties, they will do the right things. But I don't know that there's anything in place other than trusting what they tell you and what they give you.
And so I guess we're back to think, what are the benefits of collaboration?
So there are many benefits. For me, when I talk about collaborations, I typically would have in my spaces people who've never thought about writing a book. Or I've had people who have thought about writing a book, but they hadn't done anything. Or I've had people who have been a part of a collaboration and they wrote something, but they didn't understand how it came together. They just submitted it, and all of a sudden the book was done. So when I'm talking to people, I'm talking typically to those three areas of people. And I am saying to people, I can help you. I can help you get your foundation started. I can help you to get your first project out that should hopefully encourage you to see what more potential you have the ability of doing to create your next project on your own, or to get assistance with your next individual project, or move you towards another collaboration. I know some people that only are a part of collaborations and seem to be doing well with that. But unless you learn how to first brand yourself, that means you have to know who you are and what you're about. And then you have to market what you are about, what your product and service is. And really the biggest problem that authors have is not the book. It is marketing. It is getting their information out. It is targeting different places to try to sell their book. That's the biggest thing right there. And unfortunately, if you don't know and you keep going to Amazon, and reading stuff, you keep going to Google, you keep going to YouTube, searching for information, at some point you're going to be overloaded. At some point there's going to be so much information till you can't make heads or tails out of the information that you are getting. But I think it's beneficial. Even though I do collaborations, I've been in other people's collaborations. I shared some content with Miss Anna that she interjected in one of her books in her series. I worked with Dr. Shirley Clark with one of her collaborations, Let the Kingdompreneur Speak. Now, that was more in the professional business arena, and I'm a business professional. So therefore, I had a rhyme and a reason for being a part of it. Like, I don't just say, oh, this is a collaboration, I'm going to jump in it. I really look to see how is this going to benefit what I am trying to do. So as a book publisher, it benefits, as a book author, it benefits me to have this other resource in my repertoire, in my toolbox, as I say. But it also helps me to target people in the business arena. So when I'm asked to speak at somewhere business, guess what? I have a business book that I can bring to the forefront to let everybody know that they can reach out to me. Now, they're only going to reach out to me to get the book, because I only advertise and publicize my books, and I want people to go to my website, and I don't mind sending the book to people. I'm going to send my books out once a week. If I have a long haul of books to send out, I may make 2 outings a week for that. That gets me out of my home and my office space where I work at. So I don't mind doing that. So you really kind of have to decide, but I think, it gives us new audiences. It gives us the ability to collaborate with other people. We get to learn stuff about other people who are part of these collaborations. We also sometimes get to tap into some of the things that they are doing because we are a part of, and collaborations are really a great networking tool.
Things I'm working on right now, and maybe others can assist with. I'm trying to pull together a emailing list of seminaries that are interested in, well, I'd like to increase their interest in some of the novels of Christian fiction that I have not written, and pulling together a mailing list. I've checked online, sometimes they will do 30 to 50 cents per name. And so if you get, whatever number you want to do. So I want to know if there's anyone else who is interested in mailing lists where you're sending out notices about upcoming events or notices about upcoming books, who would be interested in collaborating in building a email list that we can share. Some of you are familiar with Yet Another mail merge, and it's $25 a year to send out 400 a day. But coming up with a mailing list with the names and the emails of the people and the places you want is what takes the time. And that was one of the questions I wanted to ask here. Is anyone else interested in contacting seminaries, Bible colleges or institutions? And I'd be glad to work with you and see what we can come up with a list that we may be able to share because we help pull it together, or rent it out.
I think that, I don't have time, but I think that's a wonderful idea.
Well, that's what it is. The last time I did it for one of the textbooks, I wanted to have a mailing list of 1,000 names of colleges and universities that had teacher education programs. And it took us almost 4 months. We divided up the country. Each of us had X number of letters, A through B, A through C, D through whatever, and you were to come up with 30 names within your alphabet, and then to check and see how many of those are accurate. It's a time-consuming event, but I've used that mailing list for the past 4 years, and very seldom get undeliverable. And this particular company lets you know how many people open the email and how many people click on the link. And at $25 a year, it's worth it. But you've got to have your own list.
So, Miss Anna, have you thought about using ChatGPT and asking it a question?
I have, and that's where I have, that you ask them the questions and then you have to pay to get the answer.
What ChatGPT are you using?
When I went online, I asked what are the interdenominational seminaries and institutions of higher learning? And they came up with a list of 1,262.
Okay, so you did that on ChatGPT, or you just did that online?
I just did that online.
Okay, so I'm saying there's a free ChatGPT, okay?
Right.
ChatGPT AI. I'm saying go to ChatGPT and ask the question. We have X amount of states, right? So you could make it really easy. You could ask the question, I need a list of seminaries with email addresses in Alabama.
Right. You can get that, but I want the name of a person. Otherwise, it just goes to their.
Okay, but here's the thing.
It goes to their general. And so you say, I'm looking for the dean of family counseling, or I'm looking for the English teacher. So I'll try that. Mhm,
That's good. Okay, so the next part of that thing would be, okay, once you have a list, if you
mhm,
have all of those seminaries in, say,
mhm,
Alabama, right? So you
mhm.
have a list in Alabama and they gave you email addresses. Now, what you could do with the list is you could actually take that list and now you go to the internet and you pull up each school. That
Uh,
information is there.
That information is there, but it takes 4 to 7 minutes per college to work it down to the specific names.
Well, Miss Anna.
And so I want to know if there's anyone else who is interested in it. I do plan to start then. I would just start with the alphabet, and each person would be assigned X number of letters of states who want to do it. And we continue to share. But the last time we did this, it took us 4 months to get 1,000 names. But that was
Yeah.
before Chat GPT is as efficient as it is now. But I've gotten down to what states have the universities, which states have interdenominational, but then I have to go to each of those websites and find out whether the courses I'm interested in are taught under Department A, B, C, or D. And that's where the time takes.
Yeah, so basically we're going back to the basics. Melvis, you were getting ready to say something?
I was gonna say I'll be willing to assist with that. You know, I know it takes a lot of time. I have a list of like over 350 book clubs all across the country. It took me a very long time to compile that list. And yeah, it could be even longer if I keep searching.
Let's collaborate and come up with a list because the book club is one, yes, and we may be able to exchange lists and as they come up. And this particular program lets you know whether the email goes through or not. And so each time you send out a mailing, you get a report: how many opened, how many were uh, undeliverable, how many clicked. And so that's another way. I have not done a great deal of analysis of the mailings, but let's work on that.
But
I'll
the
put
thing
my
is, you have
email
to start somewhere.
correct. And I start with letter A, Alabama, because that's my family's home state. But by the time you get through all of those, we could have a list. And if someone else would like to participate in this or utilize that, we can collaborate on something like that.
Well, I don't have time, and if you all do it, I will buy a copy of the list. Thank you so much. It will be worth my dollar.
Okay, all right. But this is it. We're going to spend time or money.
Yeah.
And at this time, I would rather spend the time because I have nothing else. Thank you.
That's good. Hi, Sean. Hi, Diana, if I didn't speak to you all. That's good, Miss Anna. So we were talking about, I was talking about it, and then we were collaborating on how we could collaborate on projects and benefits and strategies. You know, here's another thing that I have found out that is beneficial to the collaboration on projects: enhance creativity. We have people that never tried anything. We have people that didn't know about Canva. We had people that didn't know about so many resources. And guess what? They started learning how to use different things and they started building their skill set. So it also gives us, helps us to have diverse perspectives. When we work with others, we get fresh ideas. We get enriching experiences. I know I do. And I know it leads to us being more innovative and engaging. I know every project that I have been a part of, I have learned something. There is always something to learn. Now, maybe I didn't apply it, and then later on I needed, I was like, oh, why didn't I pay attention to that more? You know, then I have to go dig a little bit more. I just recently had to do that yesterday. I was like, oh, that's right. I took that master class, and I know I have. And then when I went back and I looked at my notes, I was like, yeah, but I don't even understand my notes at this point. I've been away from it for so long. But at least I gained some new insight in how to be a little more creative in what I'm doing. And also skill sharing. You know, each author, when we bring them together, we come together, everyone is unique. Everyone's has unique strengths and skills that they bring to the platform. And it can really result in a higher quality and more polished work for us. Our eyes being on all pieces, one of the things that I would do, I didn't do it this last time, and the only reason I didn't do it this last time with the in my series is because all of the co-authors had been a co-author before with me. So therefore, I didn't need to do a lot of the things that I would have to do if I was bringing some new people into the process. So this last collaboration was only for people who had been in one of the prior collaborations. It was a very reasonable, more than half of the cost was taken off of them to be a part of it. And it was just like the Lord said, just do a little something more. You only need what you need this time to do the things that need to be done. Okay. And so that was why that one was a little, was less, because I always say, just because you can doesn't mean you have to, doesn't mean you should. So just because I can charge this doesn't mean I have to charge this, of course. But some people have to charge what they charge because they have bills to pay. They have this to do. They have that to do. I am really blessed and highly favored that I don't have to pay no bills. You know, my husband's income is such that if I just sat here and talk to y'all all day, I would be all right if I didn't get one client. But I still need to do my part, okay, y'all? I still need to do my part. Makes me feel good to be able to do my part. But we want to be more creative as we are doing our projects.
When you say creative, you adding something or doing something differently?
Well, it could be both. It could be something totally new, this the creative piece that we're gaining, but it could also be something that we're doing and we're enhancing it. We're finding a better way to do it, maybe an easier way to do it, a way to advance it. Yes. Like for instance, the people that I work with who have actually been in collaborations before, but when they come to my collaboration, they don't know any of the stuff I'm talking about. So now they get a better understanding of things and the process. I think for me, it's important that I not just give people fish, but that I teach them how to fish. You have any other things, Miss Anna, that you want to add for collaborating on projects, benefits, and strategies?
Well, one of them that may not have occurred to some is sometimes you're looking for artwork. And one of the things that may work out is working with high school art teachers who have students who are very talented and are looking to expand their audience, their market for it. And you may be able to contract with the art teacher at the school, getting permission from the parents for those students who are younger to design some of the artwork that you need. And some of you are familiar with the rainbow reminders that I worked with Dr. West on. That was done with a retired teacher who does artwork. But the other book, Experience Poems and Pictures, 90% of that artwork was from high school students. And I used that book as a textbook for 3 courses this past year. And met a young man this weekend who is an art major. And when I mentioned the fact that I have a young lady who's a senior in art who's illustrating one of my poems to make it into a picture book. And sometimes collaborating with the local education institutions may be a way of getting some of the work done that you need done, but providing a venue for some of the artists in the school system where you are. Keeping in mind if the artists are under 18, they'll need parent permission. But most parents are pleased to learn that someone finds their children's artwork useful. And so that would be another collaboration, supporting the school systems, and that there are ways of earning income other than just going to college right out of high school, or earning money to go to college by using the art talents that they have.
I think that's good, Miss Anna. And I definitely think that's probably something that most of us hadn't even really thought about as an avenue. But I know I've tapped into my granddaughter, who is a creative artist, and gotten some pieces from her. And I've tapped into my grandson to get some, what they call it, loops or whatever, music loops to do with different things, because he does that. So yeah, and guess what? Pay him a little fee. You'd pay anybody else. I think it's good.
Mhm.
Any comments from anybody? Another thing that I think is beneficial in the collaboration process is that it boosts motivation. When you have people working together, they can encourage and motivate each other and hold each other accountable, which is very important. Some of us drag our feet on things. So if we are part of something, and if we know that if we don't pick our feet up, we're going to hold somebody else up, then we're more apt to get back in there. Why? Because we have shared goals. We have a sense of responsibility to the group and a commitment. So we help each of us stay maintained and ensure that there's timely completion of the project. And we become a support system. You know, when I look at the people that have been a part of my collaborations and how now they're a part of other things and how they're a part of connecting with other people, you know, it's a great thing. I think about like Clubhouse, for instance. We used to be on Clubhouse and do this room. At my last retreat, women's retreat, half of the people were people that I met on Clubhouse that were either in my morning room or in my publishing room. So you never know how you are going to connect even further with people. But that also means we have to come to the table a certain way that we draw people into what we are doing, where they want to be a part of something else. I think of the Centered in Christ series, which is 4 now. I think I have 4 people that have been in every project. And they get excited and start saying, when is the next one? What are we going to do? And I'm saying, there wasn't even going to be a 4th. There was not going to be a 4th. I was like, I'm tired of this. And then what happens, Miss Anna?
You do it anyway.
People start saying, when are you going to send the information out for the next one? What's the theme going to be for the next one? I'm ready for the next one.
Mhm.
And then it's like, you got to do it. So I'm ahead of I was behind the mark last time. I'm ahead of the game for the next one. I already have the theme for the next one. I just haven't put it. It's so many things, Miss Ann. I have so many things going on, and I was like, I don't want to bombard people that are part of this, and they want to be a part of you. You know, it's like too many things coming to people at one time. But I will make sure that it's timely. But it still will be for Mother's Day. It'll still come out for Mother's Day. That seems to be a great time. People seem to do very well with sales for that particular time and even after. And encouraging people to not just have the book, but start doing their own Bible study or book discussion with it. And inviting people in. They have to buy the book to get in, okay? So that's book sales right there. Talking about it amongst your congregants has benefited a couple of my authors and got them invited to speak for different things in the body as well as outside. So we just have to get started. We have to show up. And the S3 model says what? If you don't show up, people don't know you exist. If you don't speak out, people don't know what you have to say. And if you don't share it, people don't know what's in your toolbox. So that means we must show up, speak out, and share it. And that's what I want to encourage people to do, even before they invest in what I am offering. Are you willing to make the commitment to follow through with this? Because you're going to have to put yourself out there. Because it's nothing worse than doing all of this work, and then at the end somebody says, well, I just don't feel comfortable. The Lord didn't call us to comfort. He called us to make a commitment and get it done. That's why I did the last devotional, y'all. So we have to be committed. That's one of the things about collaboration is we have to be committed to it, but we can encourage each other to get in it, to be committed, and to stay committed. Why? Because in life, we all know there are life issues that really do arise that could get us off track. And that's why the Lord said to me, you're not going to have another tight window like you had on the devotions, because that puts people in a space where they can't move freely to really work on things, maybe at the best quality that they could have if they have ample time to get things done. So that's why, yes, by September, I'm already going to be talking about the devotion that's not coming out until May.
That gives each of us an opportunity to fit it in to the schedule. If we commit to publishing, but we have other commitments on our schedule, that's what makes it tight. And knowing another one is coming out and knowing what the theme is, we can begin. See, I'm already using we can begin to think about and to draft and refine and revise and correct what we're going to submit. So thank you for telling us the reasons for a tight window and the reasons why tight windows are not always effective, particularly when you're working with people you've worked with before, who are now nearly as busy as you are.
Correctamundo. And guess what? In being busy is a good thing when it is building up, when we're doing the work of the Lord. And you might say, well, it's a book. I consider my books to be work of the Lord. I mean, I consider my books to be tools that God has given me to get out. So I don't separate, like some people say, well, this is my business and this is my ministry. Everything I do is ministry. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm doing it as unto the Lord. Any questions? Mama Lisa, Sean, Diana, Melvise, any comments? We're getting down to the wire. I just want to reiterate what real quick, what I talked about today was collaborating on projects, some benefits and some strategies. I talked about expanding your reach, focusing on new audiences, increased visibility. I talked about enhancing our creativity through diverse perspectives and skill sharing, and also boosting our motivation and accountability by having shared goals and a support system. So I have a lot more content that goes along with this, but I figured if I share a nugget here and there, I will get it out. I want to share with you all something new that's going to be coming out as well. I'm starting to get them together because I want to have a certain amount ready, but I'm going to start doing a Tuesday tip, a Tuesday publishing tip. It's going to be a 5-minute Tuesday publishing tip. It will be audio. So there will be a picture and you will hear the audio, but I will not physically be on the screen because sometimes I don't always like to be on the screen. Even though I am an out front person, but that might start next week or the following week, but that's going to be on Tuesdays, and I will post that on my YouTube channel, and I will remind everybody about the YouTube channel, but that will help me to get some more insights on publishing and anything that goes along with publishing as well. And who knows what kind of questions and thoughts I may get from people as I do that. Here's the thing. Why am I adding one more thing? Because it's needed. and why is it needed? Because different people are looking for different things. And if you don't have the things that people are looking for, then people are going to stop coming. So therefore, I have to keep adding things to the YouTube channel. I think there's 3 or 4 videos on there from this space, and I'll be adding a few more. They probably might get grouped in, but then there will be the Tuesday tip as well as the Publishing Pusher podcast. Those will be on there this year. But I was intentional about doing the audio podcast first and then wait a while before I put the video podcast out. So the video podcast, us talking to each other, will actually be on the YouTube channel. It's coming this year. So that's the plan, but I intentionally spaced that out. So that's all I have for today. Thank you all so much. Miss Anna, I appreciate you always bringing the value to the platform. Melvise, Written Word Publishing, thank you so much. Thanks, Mama Lisa, Sean, and Diana, and the few that came in and popped out. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.